morning, everyone. Actually, good afternoon on my end. It's probably going to be afternoon before this goes up, so good afternoon, good day. Hail Suna, Day of the Sun, Sunday, as you'd like to call it. And I know this is kind of a rare video, but I didn't get you one on Friday, and that was because I got a nice little phone call literally waking me up saying, we need you like right now, and I'm like, oh, come on. So, the wonders of my new job and the ever-changing schedule, which, yeah, thank you so much for all those who are still rocking with me. I deeply appreciate it. This reading is going to be for today and tomorrow. Still going to be the big reading, though. Still going to be the full-scale reading, and of course, as always, if you like these full-scale readings and you wanted one that's a little more personal, drop into the link tree in the comments down below. Feel free to send me anything off of the wish list. Anything 35 and under gets you two readings and a birthday reading for a total of 3. Anything over that will get you 4 readings and a birthday reading. So I wanted to say this. I didn't. I completely missed this point earlier. The donations to Joe's GoFundMe have been closed. On behalf of this channel, I would like to convey my deepest thank you, my deepest thanks to everyone who did contribute. No matter what it was, there was no amount that was too small, and we very, very much appreciate it. I'm sure Joe appreciates it too. And to any who couldn't contribute, but you could, send out the link and help raise awareness, we deeply appreciate all of your efforts. They were needed. So there was no amount of money, and there was no action that we consider too small. Every little bit helped. And so we thank you all. Because of you, much can be done that couldn't be done before. Now, let me explain this reading, how it's going to go. We've got Viking Oracle here, as always. We've got the Spirit Animal Oracle, as always. I've got Tarot Grand Lux right here. We're using Moonology cards because tomorrow is Monday and I will not be here. I am going to be shooting a Moonology Monday card short for you. Those are only going to be available on my YouTube for now until High Notes gets its act together and comes back up. If they do, I don't know. I've been checking them for days and I keep getting the error 503. They just they're not there. I don't know what's going on. Last I heard, they were building up to a full launch, but this one's run by humans. It's not run by algorithms and robots and stupidity like TikTok, so who knows? I really can't call it right now. Alright, we've got this thing out, so hope you're having your tea with me, or your coffee, or your breakfast, or your lunch, or whatever. Get ready, because there's something I wanted to point out, and just real quick. I know I've mentioned this on my Twitter. I've mentioned it quite a lot, but Tom MacDonald has dropped 2 new albums right here, Renegade and The Revolution. Now, my copies, I got them autographed, obviously, because I thought it would just be cool to have. But here's the thing. This CD kicks off super hard. It goes all in. It doesn't pull any punches. And one song, track number 14, Save a Life, if you know someone who's like in trouble, mentally, spiritually, whatever, that is a great message for them. And let me tell you something, I was listening to it on my lunch break and I was like, wow, this CD goes in hard. It's very powerful stuff. This one kicks into a lower gear, but it's definitely no less powerful. And I think I'm about halfway into this into the CD. I just finished listening to the song Ghost, so I'm about halfway in. And so far, I gotta say, this is some of the best music Tom has ever put out, and I do recommend them. So it's only $25 for both of these, and that's a great deal in music. Naturally, I ripped them to my phone because I don't have a portable CD player. So you do you. They are physical only. You can get them at hangovergang.com, and I hope that you'll go check that out. Speaking of messages, I've come to bring one to you. So let's see what you got. Starting with us. Nothing's really been decided for us. This is the moment where we're a little directionless. We're a little aimless. But the good news is you can go anywhere and do anything. The decision making is all up to you, but you are being guided. Guided by the sun. Guided by Saul or Suna. On her day, no less. And for the next couple days, that's exactly how you'll be guided. You're going to have to see where the light is in your situation. And if you're in a very dark situation right now, as I am, literally, because the weather's nasty outside, and I had to turn lights on in here so you could see the cards. But if you're in that dark situation, you have to know where your light source is, and you have to be drawn to it. It has to be able to guide you. Sun always rises in the was it west to east? Yeah. So you know exactly where you are based on the position of the sun. Let that sink in for just a moment. As long as you know where the sun and the moon are, you can pretty much figure out where you're headed. You can figure out where you're going. I know for us, the sun always rises in that direction, and it sets in this direction. This direction over here. So I know right behind me is north, and I'm facing south. I know where I am. Or at least I know which direction and which to head. So even if you feel a little directionless right now, you feel like you're wandering, you feel like you just don't quite know where you're going, hey, we've all been there. What about nature? Just remember, clear out all the mental clutter. This is what's going to be conducive to giving you some direction. Right now, if you've got a million voices shrieking in your head, get rid of them. Ask yourself if they're relevant to you. Sometimes, like someone screaming at you, it's not relevant to you. You don't have to listen to it. Not if you don't want to. You don't have to let it stay with you either. So let's see how we do that mentally. Well, I got a Queen of Swords in reverse. I've got a Nine of Coins in reverse. But I have a Knight of Swords upright. How's your bozo filter looking? Are you learning anything? You know what I just learned? I just learned like the established titles thing is a scam. I also learned the Kamikoto knives thing are owned by the same parent company who own established titles, who also own Deal Dash, which I'm sure you've seen the commercials for that. And they take all these products that you think are high-end, they present them as high-end, and they just push them onto that platform. That is not true. They're not high-end. And they've gotten just enough people just scammed enough to buy them at this source, and then they'll reduce price a clear amount on this end, trying to pretend to be something that they're not. Is yours working, or are you only finding out later? Because that's a problem. And that's a problem you need to start like employing that bozo filter just a little bit. Learn when you're being lied to, because right now your financial plans, your material, what's right there in the real world not coming to completion, this is a bad sign. Just kind of like going all out. It almost looks like you're being taken advantage of. And what it's going to end in, you're going to have to do some very, very quick thinking here. Very quick thinking in order to get things done. In order to make things right. Because a lot of your conflicts right now come from you not really thinking things through. Physically, how does that manifest? Well, you're going to have a lack of peace with that Hanged Man in reverse. But there is good news. That Hanged Man in reverse, this is not you really at peace with the world. This is you really kind of doing a lot of dancing and a lot of fancy footwork. If it's coming to, borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, that's a bad sign. It's a little time for some reflection. Time to not be so outgoing. Time to kind of pull back a little bit, because you're going to need those quiet moments of meditation. You need to calm the mind a bit. Remember, we're trying to clear out that clutter. There's only one way to do it. You're going to have to get to a place of quiet. You're going to have to do what you need to do. Stop filling your entire area with every sound and every picture and every screen that you have ever been inspired to use. Sit quietly and read a book. Or just sit quietly and listen to the sounds, the ambient sounds that are naturally occurring. You're going to start making sense of a lot of stuff very, very soon. But it comes with some emotional maturity. You're going to have to master your emotions. Your emotions are getting the better of you these days. You're kind of operating on emotion. But are you operating on it in a way that is serving you? That's really the question, because if you're not operating on a way that's serving you, it's really just destroying you. So, let's have a look here. We've got a 4 of Cups in reverse. We've got a 3 of Coins here. And we have a Knight of Wands. Wow. If you're kind of feeling empty, especially if you're feeling empty with others, this is the guy at the bar, right? He's not socializing, he's just drinking. He's just there, he's sitting there, and he's drinking and drinking and drinking. It's very emotionally empty. There's no fulfillment there. So what is it about this that's not giving you that fulfillment? Where in the spirit are you just not feeling it? It's okay. It's okay to not feel it, because when the 3 of Coins comes up, this is where you have to work with others. You have to work with others in order to get that. Folks, let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong with discussing spiritual things with other people. I do it all the time. I take little bits of what I know from, I take parts of what I know from the Havamal and I'll explain them. Don't you know, sometimes just discussing it with someone leads you to a little revelation. And sometimes it's good to just let this fire kind of not be all-consuming. Just because it's fire doesn't mean it has to be a blazing inferno all the time. A candle is an example of fire. It's useful. It works. It provides light, but you cannot get too close to it. You still have to be very careful with it, and eventually it will burn out. Let's have a look at the moon cards here. So you got a new moon in Taurus, which says know your worth. Full moon in Sagittarius, which is telling you see the bigger picture. And last quarter moon in Taurus, which says be proud of yourself. How could we do that? First off, you've got to know what you're worth. What you don't know, you need to learn. And what you do know, you need to speak authoritatively about it. Doesn't mean you have to be a dick. It just means that you've got to be able to speak about it. You've got to convey what you know. And when someone asks you a question, you need to be able to answer it. You need to be able to lay it in solid fact. If you don't know, then how can you be worthwhile to someone else? And if someone else doesn't know, how the hell are they going to be worthwhile to you? Hey, some people are just full of shit. They'll tell you just about anything. And it looks like many of us are being told just about anything. And we're just kind of going with it. And it's killing us. And it's not a good deal. Thank goodness I've never bought one of those established titles or Kamikoto knives. I always thought the established titles thing was kind of cool, but not legally binding, ladies and gentlemen. So you're going to have to see the bigger picture here. And what does that mean? It means you're going to have to zoom out. See, I could show you the moon right here. But if you don't see the rest of this card, you have no idea what it is. Just the moon. And maybe that person looking at it. Now you know a little more. But as soon as I zoom out, you can see everything. You're going to have to see exactly what's going on. You're going to have to look at, when someone tells you something, where is it going? Check it out. It's perfectly fine to check it out for yourself, just to confirm. Trust but verify. There's that old term. Because this bigger picture here is going to show us a lot more, isn't it? It always does. Also, you're going to have to learn a little bit of pride does not hurt. You know what? Pride in your own accomplishments is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Pat yourself on the back occasionally. Seriously, you do pretty well for yourself. Even if you've gotten scammed recently, if you caught it before it went through, hey, you thwarted it. You thwarted a scam. Sure, you almost went for it, but at the end of the day, you didn't. And if you did get scammed, well, what did you learn from it? Alright, let's look at the runes and wrap this thing up. We've got Sawulo, we've got Dagaz, and we've got Thurasaz. I think this is probably about the perfect summary to this reading. Because right now what you need is that spiritual revitalizing energy. You need to revive the spirit. Reviving the spirit makes the mind a little sharper at times. How you do that is through a Dagaz moment. Whenever you learn something new, it dawns on you. Or whenever you knew something from before, boom, there it is, right? And it's like, oh, that's what it meant. Okay. And you can start applying it. But make no mistake, past a certain point you have to ask yourself, can a storm consume me if I'm the storm? And the answer is, no, it can't. You're going to make your own decisions. But what you're going to understand is there is a struggle with those decisions. And struggling with those decisions, it allows us to think critically. It allows us to think. That is something that every warrior who shows up to this channel is here to do. Hey, for some, they're gonna get a few messages and they're gonna take off with it. They're gonna run with it, and that's fine. Some kind of want to come back to the well as many times as they can, and that's perfectly fine as well. At the end of the day, the message that gets related to you is that you're still needed. The struggle still continues, but the struggle's made a lot easier with you in the picture. So even though the clouds are out and the rain is falling, the thunder is sounding and the lightning is flashing, if you can still see the road ahead, you're 100% golden. And that's everything I got for you today. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you all for staying around. Thank you all for sharing and commenting and liking and subscribing and all that other good stuff. It really helps. Just remember, I love you all. I want you to take care of yourselves and each other. I want you to always do what lights you up. And as always, on this fine Sunday, shine on.